Welcome, everyone. My name is Yuri Sokolov, and I'm a head of manual QA program here at Careerist. So today we have an amazing subject to discuss. We'll talk about a tool that is called the Chrome Development Tools, or sometimes we can hear it as a Chrome DevTools, and how we as a QA engineers can utilize it at work. So today we'll discuss what this tool does, why do we need to know this, and how can we apply practically this tool to our work as a quality assurance engineers within the company. All right, so let's start. What is a Chrome DevTools? So Chrome Developer Tools, or DevTools, is a comprehensive set of tools for software developers and QA engineers. So it is built directly into the Chrome browser. So you don't have to install any additional add-ons or plugins. All you have to do is download Google Chrome browser onto your computer, PC, or Mac, and this collection of tools will be installed with it. So the Chrome DevTools helps developer or tester to diagnose problems more quickly and build better websites. So within the presentation, you will be able to find a link to official documentation page. You don't really need to spend too much time learning or reading about it. It is very basic, and I'll explain how can we use it, how easy it is to learn, how easy it is to use, and in what cases, which case we need to apply this tool to our tasks or assignments. I'll tell you right away that mostly this tool is used by software developers and QA automation engineers. Manual QA, they sometimes use it, sometimes they don't. Mostly if, let's say, you're working for a company which develops a website or web service. In this case, you may likely will be using this tool at work. All right, so let's start. How to access DevTools on Chrome. And I'll show it to you in a few minutes. But basically, it's very simple. All you have to do is open Google Chrome browser. You need to do right-click with your mouse on top of the web page, and select in the drop-down menu. It's going to be the selection is called Inspect, and then the Chrome DevTools will open. Alternatively, you can use a shortcut or a hotkey combination, Command Option C on MacBooks or Control Shift C on Windows. All right, so let's take a look at our first practical use case. So this is a screenshot from a Jira. So let's imagine we're working as a QA engineer in one of the software companies, software development companies, and this company develops a website or a web service. So you as a QA engineer, you go over your tickets in Jira, and this is what you see. This is a task ticket, and this one is assigned to you. So you basically have to work on it. Let's take a look at the ticket. Title: verify that the web page is properly displayed on Nexus devices. Okay, we need to always read the description. There's going to be some information for QA engineers, notes, test information, test data, and stuff like that. So we always look for descriptions. Notes to QA: after certain changes to Nexus display resolution, some of our web pages weren't displayed properly. Software developers implemented changes to web pages to better resize icons and buttons. Now, what we need to do, we need to verify that the website layout appears as expected without any distortions. So apparently there was an issue on certain mobile devices like Nexus, if you're familiar. On the Nexus devices, the website was distorted. Yeah, when you open the browser on your Nexus device, your mobile device browser, you navigate to the website and it was broken, right? Assuming that happened. So now we as a QA engineers need to find a way how to test it. Usually, of course, in real life, we would have some set of actual devices to test, but sometimes we just don't have all of them. We may have 5 different ones or even 10 ones, but if there's a problem with Nexus devices, we may not have it. If we know that there's, let's say we need to test on 3 different devices like Nexus 10, Nexus 7, Nexus 4, what should we do? We obviously not going to order 3 brand new devices just for that test because it just takes time, and it's not really feasible in case it was some minor thing. So that's where Google Chrome DevTools comes into play, and that's how we can utilize it. All right, so let's move to our browser. Let's look at this web page. Let's assume that is the web page that was broken on during our tests. And now we need to find a way to test it to see if it's not broken on Nexus, on the list of Nexus devices. So we see, again, we were open our Google Chrome browser, and now in order to enable the Google Chrome DevTools, all we have to do is do the right click with our mouse on top of the page and select inspect. See? Now, boom. As you can see, it's loading. On the right side of our Google Chrome browser, we have now a really cool panel with a bunch of information, bunch of code. And again, don't be afraid. Don't get scared by this right away. It looks pretty busy, looks complex, sophisticated. It's really not. We don't really need all that stuff right now. It looks complex, but it's actually really easy to use. And I'll show you how we use it in this case. So what we essentially need to do right now is emulate certain resolution of a device. So we know we need to test on Nexus 10, Nexus 7, and I think it was Nexus 4, right? So we need to somehow just simulate or emulate resolution of these devices to do a basic check to see if the website is not broken. For that, we will use the one of the features which is called device toolbar. As you can see, it's like a little icon at the top left corner. And if we click on it, boom, now we have our website laid out to resemble a cell phone device or mobile device resolution. Now, let's see what we have here. Let's take a look. There we go. So for dimensions, Google Chrome already comes with some list of presets. So it's already been installed, right? As you can see, you can basically test any resolution you like, Pixel, iPad, Samsung Galaxy, but we don't have Nexus here, which is fine. For that, what we can do, we can click the button Edit, and it already gives us like more options of resolutions, devices to select from. So we select Nexus 10, Nexus 7, Nexus 4, right? And we click this thing. Now let's go back to our list, the drop-down menu for our devices. We go with Nexus 10. Boom. See? So what we just did, with our Google Chrome DevTools toolkit, we simulated the resolution for a Nexus 10 device. So exactly the way this page will looks right now, it will look on Google Nexus 10 device. So you can see, looks like this. Perfect. Then we can do same check for Google Nexus 7 and same check for Nexus 4. As you can see, everything looks fine. Okay, perfect. Now let's move back to our presentation. So solution here is simple. In case we need to simulate a resolution of some device, or maybe like a weird display, we can always use toggle device toolbar, and it's easy to navigate, it's easy to find inside the Google Chrome DevTools. All right, let's talk about the second use case. We have a second task. It's another example of what we can do with Chrome DevTools. So verify homepage loading time improvements. We have a ticket, we need to work on it. Notes to QA. Software developers performed planned code refactoring, which should improve overall loading time of our web page. So what we need to do, we need to verify that the website loading should be fast under various network conditions. And we have an environment details which we need to test on. So we'll be using the Chrome browser. And we need to test basically a really fast network like 5G or Wi-Fi at this point. I'm on Wi-Fi, so I'll be using that. And something slow like 3G or we're very slow 3G or maybe 2G, right? So we need to make sure that the website loads, it doesn't really freeze, it doesn't take 2 minutes to load, even under slow 3G connection, because that's what developers were aiming for in this particular case. Obviously, this is more of an abstract example. In real example, there's going to be some metric you will need to measure or look for. It's going to be more detailed. But for now, for demonstration purposes, that will be enough for us. So let's go back to our Chrome DevTools. For this particular example, we will use Amazon. So let's say you work at Amazon. And what we need to do, we need to test that the Amazon loads. So when we refresh the page, you can see on the Wi-Fi or on the 5G, like high-speed network, it's pretty fast. I can click refresh button and boom, within half a second, it's loading. We don't see any issues with that. Now, how can we test slower network? Again, with our beautiful, amazing tool, which is called Chrome Development Tools. Again, how do we open the screen? Right-click anywhere on the web page, select the menu field, we select Inspect. Let's wait for our tool to load. We can exit. So it remembers the previous setting. So in order for us to go back to the previous screen, we can disable the device toolbar, which is located in the top left corner of a Chrome DevTools. So boom, we disabled it. Now we can see our page displayed exactly like it's displayed in our browsers, okay? So in order for us to test loading speed, we will use a setting, or it's not a setting, it's a tab. Chrome DevTools has many different tabs. You can see we can click on the three dot icon, like it's an overflow. And if we search for more tools, it will give us the list of all the tools, all the cool things that this Chrome DevTools has in it. We, as a QA engineers, manual QA engineers, we're likely not going to use all of them. In fact, we're probably just going to use a few of them. So today, the next one that will be really, really helpful for us, it's called network. So let's see if we have it here. There you go, network. See, we have tabs here. By the way, you can resize. You can always resize Google Chrome, so you'll have more tabs visible. Also, what you can do with the location of this doc, you can change it here. You can go and make it so that it will appear at the bottom, right? It depends on what kind of screen you have, what kind of display, monitor, vertical, horizontal. You can always lay it out the way you like. In my case, I like it to be here on the right side, okay? All right, so let's simulate slow network conditions. For that, we search for a network tab here, yeah? So we select the network tab here. And basically what this tab does, what this feature does, it shows the HTTP requests and responses for web pages. Sort of similar to API requests, we can see the data that's been downloaded by our browser. We can see the data is being sent by our browser. So you can see all these HTTP requests, images, downloaded files, media streaming, and so on. Looks complicated. We don't really need to use it right now. What we can use here is simple one cool feature, which is called throttling. Throttling basically means that we can change the speed or the connection of our network. Okay, so as you can see here in the top right corner, it's going to be a section that's called throttling. So right now, by default, it says no throttling. So we can select it, and then we can find something that we need to use, like fast 3G, slow 3G. We can even test completely being offline, off the grid, or we can add our own preset here, the speed of network we want to test. Right now, as per our ticket, we need to test the slow 3G speed. Another cool thing that is available to all the users when the Google Chrome DevTools is enabled. So when we have this panel here, we can actually test complete refresh with all the cookies and all the files that's been stored in our browser completely wiped out. So kind of like it's called hard refresh. For that, I'll show you how it's done. It's really easy. For that, we need to hover with our mouse over the refresh sign. So you can see there's a refresh icon that we use a lot. So when we do the right click with our mouse on this button, we see that there are a few different options. So normal reload, hard reload, and there's another one where it actually flushes all the cached stored images which were stored before. Like when we use the website stores certain images, files, cookies, data with our browser, on our browser, okay? So when we do empty cache and hard reload, it means that we completely delete everything that was stored by this website on our computer and see how it's gonna load it from scratch. So that's exactly what we're gonna do and how we're gonna test it. So let's select this option and see how fast will it load. See some request responses. Okay, now it's wiped out, and we can see how long does it take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, right? Obviously, we will need some better measurement here, but as you can see, it works. We throttle our network, and it takes much longer time to load. Maybe it takes way too long under certain conditions, under these conditions. Maybe this ticket is actually constitutes a failure or something is not working because it takes like really long time to load. For me, it's like should be if it's optimized, it should be faster. But as you can see, it takes more like 10 seconds to load. Maybe there is a bug, maybe there isn't. But it took us, I don't know, maybe a couple minutes to verify, to test, see how fast it loads or how slow it loads. It is a pretty cool feature. It's called network. So after we're done with our testing, we need to basically disable the throttling. So go back to this section and click on no throttling. Yeah. So after we're done with this one, we can perform similar tests just to make sure that it works. Let's see again. Boom, almost instantly. See, there's the difference. Half a second or 0.1 of a second versus 10 seconds. This is how throttling works. Awesome. All right, so let's go back to our presentation and we'll discuss our third practical use case. What else can we do with this amazing tool? All right. So our third use case. Clicking Use My Current Location button doesn't return store locations. So let's imagine we're working for the company that develops a website for a chain of stores. In this example, I will use Safeway as a store that we will be testing, right? If some of you are familiar, Safeway is basically a chain of grocery stores, kind of like Whole Foods, I don't know, Trader Joe's and stuff like that. It's pretty big on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, it's almost non-existent. And what we have here, what is the purpose of this ticket? What are the nodes to QA in this particular case? Let's read it. Support department received a complaint from one of our users stating that use my current location functionality isn't working. So in some cases, there, for example, for a website of a big chain of stores or McDonald's or fast food or something like that, there's always going to be a functionality built in where you can come in, click on the button, and the button will basically take your location from your browser and will show you the closest results. Kind of like the same way Google Maps works or Apple Maps works. It takes your geolocation coordinates or any other positioning data and navigates to closest, store or closest restaurant or something like that. So in our case, apparently some user contacted the support department and they said, hey, my current location feature functionality doesn't work. And we as QA engineers, it's pretty common that we need to address those concerns. We need to review the ticket and test again. Maybe we missed something. Maybe there is a bug. Maybe something is broken. So we need to make sure that there is no actual problem and maybe something happened to user's computer. So we need to test the website to see if geolocation feature still works and users are able to see store locations. For that, we will again use Google Chrome browser. Let's go back to our testing website. So again, you can see this is a Safeway website where they have feature. They have feature basically which says that you can locate, find the location, and then there is a button which, when we click, it's gonna read our coordinates from our browser. That browser transmits to a server, Safeway server, and it will check if we have any stores around it. So user says that it doesn't work. Let's try. So what I will do is I will click on find my location, like to track the location. I'll see what the results will be. Okay, as you can see, it says, sorry, there are no locations near North Miami Beach. That's my current location, okay? So it can mean a few things. A, it may mean that there are actually no locations, which is probably true. But what can also, what this also can constitute is it can constitute an error, a bug. Maybe there are locations. Maybe something is not working, right? So there's a reason to be concerned. There's a reason to test it. How can we test that this feature actually works? I know that there are no Safeway locations around the area that I live at, but I know that, let's say in the West Coast, San Francisco, California, Bay Area, there are plenty of stores Safeway supports, right? So how can I test this feature functionality by sitting at home in Florida, right? Easy with our amazing tool from Developers Tools. Again, so what we do, we select inspect, we enable our browser. Okay, now for this particular task, what we're gonna use, a functionality which is called sensors. For sensors, we need to look for, let's see, for sensors. Sensors are always the hidden ones. They are located underneath it. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so when we go to more tools, boom, there's going to be sensors. Again, in order to find sensors, you go into this three-dot menu and you search for more tools, and you will find sensors here. All right. There are also tools here as well. All right, so what sensors does? Sensor lets you emulate or simulate location and phone orientation. Orientation we don't really need for this test, but location is something we definitely can, something that we definitely can test. All right, so here's our testing website. And let's say we want to tell our browser that we are located not in Florida, but in California, San Francisco. Okay, so it simulates the latitude and latitude, the time zone. And now let's try again. Let's try again. Let's do, yeah, let's see if it works. Okay, so it doesn't work because we forgot to do important thing. We forgot to do refresh, because browser stored there. Apparently there was some data that was stored which said that our location is in Florida. So let's try it again, and we will completely reload. Completely reload, and let's try it again. Boom. As you can see, now we faked our location. The Safeway, Market Street, Safeway, San Francisco, plenty of options. So what this tells us is, hey, this feature is working. And it's not, there is no bug. It actually works in San Francisco, probably works in other places too. So maybe the concern user brought up was not that actual real. Okay, again, without any VPN, without any third-party tools, just took us less than a minute to test this very basic functionality with our Chrome DevTools tool set. All right. Okay, so let's move back to our presentation, and we will talk about, this is going to be our last example, and what else we can do with Chrome DevTools. All right, so let's imagine we have a test case. So you're a QA engineer and you have a test case. You need to verify font size and color of the text string on the main web page. Text string means a text. It's actual text on the web page. So let's take a look at the notes to QA. After the change in requirements, the new size and color for the text on the main page have been implemented. What you need to do as a QA engineer, you need to verify the correct size and color of the text. Okay, we have, that's probably an information from our developers. Font size is 60 pixels, and the color is whatever the code of the color is. Since it's HTML and CSS web development, they use their specific codes and font sizes, and the way, so to make sure that the website looks accordingly to our requirements. How can we test this? Because obviously, when we just look at the web page, let's assume this is the text we need to test, right? How can we tell which size of this font, and how can we tell which color? Roughly, eyeball it. It's not going to work. We need to be very specific here. So let's open our Chrome DevTools. It's loading, it's loading, it's loading. There we go. For this particular test, what will I do is I will use a thing which is called inspector. So in the top left corner, you can find this little icon with an arrow. So when we click this icon with an arrow, and then we can hover over all the elements on the web page. So let's see. Assuming this is our subject for our test today, we can take a look. Okay, what does it say? It says font is 55 pixels. Okay, see, we were expecting 60 pixels size, and this is 55. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe it's a bug. Maybe something is wrong. We can always, take a deeper look. We can always investigate what went wrong. And here's the color. Here's the color. Oops. So 18181B. Let's go back to our requirements. 18181B. It is a correct color, but the font size looks 5 pixels smaller, shorter. Again, very easy tool to check very basic things. Again, Chrome DevTools, it's a pretty cool thing that will probably help you to get a job, because based on my experience, when you're interviewing for a job of key engineer, especially if the company you're interviewing for works with web pages, they will likely ask you questions about this tool and how did you use this tool at your previous work or projects. This is a great presentation that will help you to answer all those questions and provide not just 1, 2, but 4 different examples of the situations where you actually use Chrome DevTools and how did you solve your problems or perform your testing by applying this knowledge. All right, thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Goodbye.